Thanks for tuning in to Bourbon Drop. I'm your host, Myron. Today, I am going to talk about the bottles that I left behind during Dry January. So if you are a fan of the channel, I'm pretty sure that you saw the haul. Sure that you saw the haul. that kind of ran together. But I had a massive haul for the month of Dry January. I left some bottles behind though, because we'll get into it. Some of these prices, I was just kind of like, but there are quite a few bottles that I left behind. All right, so look, the first bottle is a bottle. The reason why I left it behind is because I already have this bottle. I backed it up. I am on the backup now, but I haven't cracked the backup. But I know I am going to want another one. But I had already been buying so many bottles throughout the month of January. This was towards the end of January when I saw it, like days before the end of January. And I was like, I just can't do it. I said, the only way I'm gonna buy something else if it is special. But anyway, so C924. I left the C924 on the shelf. I don't know if the Virginia ABC had a drop, but they were all over the place. Like I said, I have certain stores that I frequent. And every last one of those stores that I went to for a guy that's not supposed to be buying any more bourbon had a ton of them. I mean, rows deep. So I was like, if they are still there in February, that might be one of my first purchases of February. However, that January video was so big and the video was so long, like I said, I might not even do another video until maybe March. Anyway, next bottle up. You guys are probably going to kick me in the behind for passing this bottle up for $20 because I try and stick to my guns. I saw an E.H. Taylor straight rye at the wine shop down here in Waldorf for $99.99. I know that it retails for $79.99. I will go 30 over my retail if I feel like it is worth it. However, I did not think that bottle was worth it, but patience pays off because they had a small batch for $99, a straight rye for $99. I refused to pay 3 times the price for a small batch. Walked out of the store, sat in the parking lot, mulled it over, just left. I said, you know what, let's get out of here. But today was my lucky day. Shout out to my man Scott. He calls me and says people are dropping locations for where they are getting the E.H. Taylor. He said foolproof. I got to the King Street store and I did not see a foolproof, but what I did see surprised me because I said patience pays off. It was the E.H. Taylor straight rye at retail, $79.99. So patience does pay off. You do not have to jump on everything that you see because you think it is a deal. Stick to your guns. If you don't think something is worth it, I know we all have FOMO. Because I was in the parking lot and I was like, I had it in my hands and I was like, should I go back and get it? Should I not? Should I go back and get it? Should I not? And I was like, I'm just leaving before I go and drop 100 bones. I know it's only $20 over, but sometimes you just got to stick to your guns, man. So like I said, patience paid off and I wound up walking away with the E.H. Taylor straight rock. Now, next bottle that I left behind in the month of January because like I said, Dry January, not sipping anything, just going out, buying, getting my bottles up for material to have me, get things throughout the year, especially when special releases don't come out. Old Soul Tintype. So this is why. This Old Soul right here is the Virginia ABC pick. This thing comes in at 121.17 proof. The Old Soul Tintype came in at 120 point something proof or 121. It's going to be up in the pictures that I put up either way. The Old Soul Tintype is 7-year MGP and it's $99. This Old Soul single barrel pick, which I love the single barrel picks anyway. Virginia ABC had it for $74.99, $75. So $100 for a 7-year-old MGP that is like 120 plus proof versus $75 from the same exact place, MGP, $25 cheaper, a little bit higher in proof, and I know that I love these. So like, look, I don't know what the hype is around the 10 type. But you guys, please tell me, put it in the comments. I haven't had it yet. I know I like these. Haven't had the 10 type. Someone even asked me about the 10 type when I was in the store, and I told them I really don't have any information besides the fact that I love the regular Old Soul picks. So, you know, that's all I can say. All right, next bottle on the list is Blanton's. And I know you guys are probably like, well, whatever. People probably leave Blanton's behind all the time. Honestly, when I'm in a store, I have had people come in and ask the people behind the counter for Blanton's. Matter of fact, one of the stores that I was in, the guy was pissed because Virginia ABC has the new rule. They cannot tell you exactly where everything is at. You can walk in the store. You can say, hey, have you had a drop today? They can say, yes, we had a drop. However, they cannot walk you around the store. They kind of have to tell you, if you just look on the store shelves, you might be able to find what you're looking for. Or maybe even kind of point you in the right direction of where to go. But this guy, he walks in, hey, did you guys have a drop today? The guy says, he said, yeah, they got the drop of Havana, but the Havana was already gone. So he said, do you have any Blanton's? And the guy said, well, due to the new rules, I can't tell you what exactly, or take you to where it's at. I can tell you we had a drop. And the guy says, well, that's silly. Tell ABC that they lost a customer. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, dude, if you're here, more than likely you live in the state of Virginia. This is the only show in town. I don't think they lost the customer. I really don't. And if you come on my side of town, where I live here in Maryland, you're not going to find Blanton's for under $150. I've never seen Blanton's under $150 in Maryland. I haven't seen it at 3 of the stores that I go to that have really great prices, but at all of the other stores, I haven't seen it for less than $150. Now, I probably could check their website. Those 3 stores, they know who they are. They normally have great prices. But anyway, plus the fact that Blanton's has crept up at the Virginia ABC to about $80 now. Like, that's stupid ridiculous for Blanton's to me. Yes, it's a beautiful bottle. Yes, it's got a nice little horsey top on there. I mean, you can see I've got a couple back there behind me. It's not something that I go to all the time. I do enjoy it. I call it my 93 proof monster because in that proof, that's a weird proof, there are not a lot of, there's nothing out there really that can beat it. And it's a well put together whiskey. Is it going to knock your socks off? No. But I also like to keep it around so that when people come over that have never had it and they've heard about it, or they've seen the John Wick movie and it's like, wow, I need to have it. Like, hey, I got some. I'm telling you, you're going to try it and you're probably not going to be that wild by it. But anyway, all right, next bottle up on the list, we've got the Jack 10. Now, it was in a glass case, so that should have told me right there. But I was thinking he was going to say $200-$300 because I've seen people ask for $399 for the Jack 10. He says $199. He says one, I say, oh. He says $99, I say, because I was not going to do $199. Had he said, a decent price. When he said one, I was like, if he says like 100, if he follows up the one with 100, might be willing to do that. Maybe even go, because I've had it before. Is it a 150 bottle? I know it's hard to get. Sometimes you spend a little more when it's bottles that's hard to get. I don't necessarily know if it's a 150 bottle just to have it because I know how hard it is to get. Maybe, possibly. It's one of those bottles that it's really up to you. It's good juice. It is. I actually, when I did the blind, I liked it more than I liked the Jack 12. And when the 14 comes out, that thing is going to be astronomical. When it hits secondary, oh my gosh! And some of these stores that charge secondary, it's gonna be ridiculous. All right, so another one, because I like shopping for Dusties, and this store that I went into, they had literal Dusties. Like, these bottles hadn't been moved in forever, but they weren't old bottles. They just were covered in dust. So they had an old line in there that like had about a 1/4 inch of dust on it. I was like, what are y'all doing? Like, y'all don't take a duster? Anyway, so when I see stuff like dust, I really start like scouring the shelves because I'm trying to see if I see anything good. And they had a Black Booker's box. So I was like, hey, can you take that one down and just let me know what the price is? It happened to be the not Booker's Little Book Chapter 7. So once again, he said, what? I said, huh? He said 90. I said, I couldn't do it, man. I said, can you do, because I know little books, I have a chapter 5. I know little books are expensive anyway. I said, what about 150? He said, no, that's a good price. That's the price that it's at. But I was like, man, I'm trying to keep you from having to collect any more dust. Because when he took it down, he did like this, and there were 3 finger marks from where he actually did like this because he was trying to open it for me. Because he didn't know how to look for the chapter. And I was like, it's printed on the front. But it had where he wiped his fingers up trying to slide it up. And that thing was covered in dust. And then he had, I believe it was a 2021 04, and he had that one for $120. And you know me, I tell you guys all the time, me and Bookers, we aren't the best of friends. And I was reading, I think it was a Breaking Bourbon review, and they had the 2021 04, and he gave it like 3 barrels, which is like average. I'd rather just, if I'm gonna pay for average whiskey, I don't want to spend $120. But I think that's a better than average score. The 3 barrels out of 5. Anyway, on to the next one. So I was at the Virginia ABC in the McLean area, and I happened to see 3 bottles of the Little Book Infinite. I think that's the Infinite, yeah. And I was like, I think it was. Don't quote me on it. I should have took a picture of it. I think it was like $199. And I was knowing I hear great things about it, but knowing my relationship with Bookers, I did like chapter 5. Haven't had chapter 7, even though I tried to talk the guy and let me get it for a little cheaper than what he had. I didn't know if I wanted to spend that much. Like, there are very few bottles that once you crack 100, like, it needs to blow my mind. Like, Old Carter blows my mind every time. There has only been one Old Carter that I did not like, and it just, I'm not even going to say I didn't like it. It just was, to me, not to the level. It was an American whiskey, believe it or not, too, but it was just not to the level of what I am used to tasting out of Old Carter. So the PLDC number 3 that I have behind me, shout out to my man Brad, the 16-year-old American light whiskey, and the batch 14, phenomenal, man, phenomenal. All right, last bottle on the list. Actually, I covered this when I went over the E.H. Taylor Straight Rye and being patient, because it was the E.H. Taylor small batch. I am going to say it again. I refuse, absolutely refuse to pay $99 for E.H. Taylor small batch. And the reason why is because I know how much it retails for. That is not a $100 bottle. The single barrel is cheaper. I know that they're a little harder to come by, but let patience pay off. Do not pay $100 for that bottle. So anyway, those are the bottles that I left behind, left on the shelves in the month of January. Tell me what bottles that you walked past, you said, absolutely not, I am not paying that much, whether the price was sky high or whether you just didn't think it was a bottle that was worth it based off of retail. So with that being said, let the whiskey flow. Never run out. Let's get into a drop. Till next time.